Before we dive in today, I want to quickly mention that this deep dive is brought to you by SalesWings. If you are reaching out to prospects, you really need to know when they're actually paying attention.
Right, absolutely.
So SalesWings is this lightweight intelligence solution for website lead generation, and it immediately alerts sales reps the moment their LinkedIn prospects visit their website. Definitely check it out to see who is actually engaging with your brand.
Because timing is just, well, it is the critical layer for modern outreach.
Exactly. And timing ties perfectly into our mission for today. We are doing a deep dive into a really comprehensive 2026 guide on the most effective LinkedIn prospecting solutions.
Which is incredibly relevant right now.
Yeah, if you're in sales or really any role that relies on generating pipeline, the ground is completely shifted beneath your feet. LinkedIn is now strictly enforcing these rolling weekly limits of roughly 100 to 200 connection requests.
Wow, yeah, that is a massive restriction.
Right. The era of hitting your quota through sheer volume is just officially over. Okay, let's unpack this.
Please do.
For years, the industry standard was kind of like operating a massive commercial trawler. You just threw a giant net into the water, dragged up whatever you could, and then sorted it out later.
The classic spray and pray approach.
Exactly. But with these new algorithmic limits, that net is completely useless. You have to pivot to a highly targeted spearfishing approach.
You absolutely have to make that shift because, well, the platform's algorithm simply will not tolerate the trawler anymore. Since your outreach volume is so heavily restricted now, every single connection request really has to count.
It really does.
And that mandates rigorous initial targeting before you even consider turning on any automated tool. You need to know exactly who you are aiming at, which makes LinkedIn Sales Navigator the absolute foundational solution here.
Right. And the guide we are analyzing really emphasizes leveraging Sales Navigator for its account insights and precise filters, and especially those real-time trigger events.
Oh, the trigger events are crucial.
Yeah. So instead of a generic pitch, you reach out the exact moment someone changes jobs or, maybe their company just announced new funding. It provides highly contextual professional outreach.
Well, what's fascinating here is that Sales Navigator's intentional lack of automation is actually its greatest asset for maintaining your account safety.
Wait, really?
How so? Yeah, by forcing the user to manually filter and observe these trigger events, it prevents the rapid, robotic microsecond clicks that instantly set off LinkedIn's spam detection. You are gathering context at a human pace, not pinging their servers 100 times a minute.
Okay, but I have to push back a little bit here. If I am a modern sales representative and I am required to generate new pipeline every single day, isn't relying strictly on manual targeting and research going to completely derail my numbers?
That is a very fair concern.
Right, because spearfishing sounds great in theory, but it is incredibly slow when you have ambitious targets to hit.
And that is the exact problem this guide addresses. Purely manual execution simply cannot scale to meet modern quotas. Sellers absolutely must layer on technology, but it has to be responsible automation.
Responsible automation.
Yes. To safely bypass these strict LinkedIn caps, your technology stack must orchestrate actions across multiple channels.
Ah, I see. So you start with tools built specifically for platform safety. The sources highlight solutions like Expandy.io and DuckSoup.
Right, those are excellent examples.
And just to clarify for anyone wondering how they work, they do not just blast messages. They establish responsibly paced automation by introducing randomized delays between clicks. It essentially mimics actual human behavior to keep your account off the algorithmic radar.
Exactly, they pace it out intelligently, but eventually, you will still hit that 200 request limit.
And that is where multi-channel platforms like QuickMail.com, WalletC, and LaGrowth Machine come into play.
Precisely. Those platforms solve the volume problem through API integrations. When the system detects you have hit your LinkedIn limit, it automatically transitions the subsequent follow-ups over to email.
Oh, that is incredibly smart.
Yeah, the core methodology here is utilizing LinkedIn strictly as your relationship layer. That is where you establish context, view their profile, and make that initial professional connection. Then you utilize email as the follow-through layer to handle the actual deliverables and scheduling.
It functions a lot like a track and field relay race.
That is a great way to visualize it.
Yeah, but the magic is really in the handoff mechanism. The multi-channel tool acts as a smart baton that stores all the data. So when the automation transitions from the LinkedIn track over to the email track, it carries the exact same context.
Like that recent job change you noticed.
Yeah, exactly. It carries it without dropping a beat. So the buyer just experiences one seamless conversation.
Right. The automation ensures the follow-up happens at scale, but your manual targeting foundation ensures the message remains relevant. And adopting these professional frameworks is not just about booking a meeting today.
No, definitely not.
It actively protects your account integrity and brand reputation
Yeah.
because you simply cannot afford to be flagged as spam in today's environment.
Which means predictable pipeline generation in 2026 relies on this precise formula. You need tight targeting at the foundation, highly restrained automation to manage the pacing, and an integrated multi-channel process to keep the dialogue moving.
That is the modern playbook in a nutshell.
But it leaves you with a really interesting question to ponder.
Oh, what's that?
Well, as algorithms continue to restrict automated volume and force us to put those massive nets away, will the ultimate competitive advantage in sales eventually become completely unscalable, deeply researched human connection?
That is a powerful thought.
It really is something to think about the next time you go to click connect.